Okay, so welcome back everyone. This is a series of video which will look closer into slice up free functionalities. So in short, we're gonna go through the whole process of shaping a small vase or a planter, pen holder, something with the shape of the vase, and then adding a base to it, and finally how to print it in spiral mode. But let's start at the very beginning, so the vase shape. Uh, I just click here and this will send me to the vaseShape page. So here I get some information about what the module does, the input or output required, and some useful tip you may need. And then all of the modeling happens inside this modeling viewport. So you can visualize your model made up of all the layers here. And the way you interact with your design or the way you program your design is by interacting with these parameters on the right. By the way, if you want to know more about all these parameters, you can click on the info icon and then you can access some short description about all these parameters that are available to you. But let's go on and see how we can model our object. So first, I like to go full screen, so just to make everything nice and clear. And then the way it works, I just follow the parameter from bot till bottom, right? So at the very beginning, I'm asked to specify my first layer rate and my layer rate. So you need to do this at the beginning and you will not be able to change it later on in different steps of this design. So just choose carefully. This is what works with my setup. I will just keep it like this. Next, I can define the size of my overall design space. That's this blue box here, right? So it's the maximum volumetric space that your design can take up. In this case, I want something a bit smaller, so maybe some 90 millimeter width, and let's say around 100 millimeter tall. Nice. This looks good to me, so I just move on. The next series of parameters will allow me to interact with the shape. So for example, now every layer is made of a circle, but I can choose like a triangle or whatever, an octagon, hexagon. I think I'm gonna go with a pentagon. And I also have some extent of control over the sharpness of the corner. For example, I'm gonna select a large fillet, which make the corners nice and soft. This I like. And the next series of parameters are what they allow me to define the profile or the side shape of this face. So I'm gonna show you a trick to better visualize these elements. So first of all, I just turn off the design space and I can now focus on the profile curve. But to see it even better, I can click on this pencil here and then the camera and move into a side view. So now it's very clear what the profile does. So in order to control the shape of this profile, I can choose the number of control sections that I can use. So now they are 3, but they can be, for example, 5. So each control section is demarked by a letter, and you can move them around by just using the relevant section. For example, let's look at section D. I want to make it slightly narrower and then maybe move it down a bit. And this is what I get, for example, or I want it close to the top and I can get something like this. Now, personally, I like to go with something simple. So I will take the 3-section design, but I just want to use not a smooth profile, but a profile which is sharp at each control section. So I have a kink here what control section C is. And I'll just let the internet connection works its wonder. Sometimes it gets slow. And yes, that's what I was talking about. See, now I have a kink here at section C. I kind of like the shape, but I will check it again in perspective. So yes, I guess this is what I'm after and I'm done with the design. So the next step is that of finalize it. And in order to do so, I need to download it. So maybe I just give it a name that helps my workflow. and then I just hit the export button here. When I hit the export button, this very design you see here is then downloaded in the form of a DXF file. So I just hit the download button and I'm done with this step. So I guess I'll see you in the next video where we're gonna take a look at how add in a base for this small design. Thank you very much, and for this video is all.